Hey, what's up everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, 9:30 Eastern. You got the Battle LA. Lakers versus Clippers. Laker home floor. Well, Clippers have been on a winning streak. I think they're on like a 6-game winning streak, and they've been beating teams we've been basically losing to. We've been playing the same teams with the exception of the Suns for them and the Timberwolves for us. Everybody else we've seen over the last 5 games are the teams that they've seen. And they beat them all. And the teams that beat us were who they beat, basically. The Heat, the Grizzlies, the Pelicans. They've been stomping teams out that we've been struggling with, man. That's really what it comes down to. Winning those games by an average of basically 8 to 15 points. They're the hottest team in the league right now. And the game against the Suns, they shot 53% from the 3, 51% from the field or something like that. Very, very good 3-point shooting team. And their defense is starting to come together, too. They're finding defensive stuff. Norman Powell is in a good rhythm right now. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, James Harden, all playing well. James Harden is their assist man. He's kind of found his way on this team now. And Russell Westbrook's coming off the bench in a role that's kind of lesser for the most part, but he's still very much impactful. Terrence Mann is starting to play better. Zubats has been rebounding the ball like crazy. It's just a lot of good stuff going on in Clipperland for themselves at the moment. For us to be running into them on a struggling, I done lost count. Is it 5-game stretch? 4-game losing streak we're on right now. Where we've just been looking kind of bad, like kinda. If not very bad. You know, a lot has been said about firing the coach. You know, at this point, I've been calling for it as well, you know, but from what I understand, the word around the street is if he loses this one, this is probably the one that cost him his job. And, you know, I mean, I can't argue with that. He didn't basically threw us under the bus as fans, saying he's tired of people living and dying with every game. I took that as a shot toward not only the fans, but probably his own players who are frustrated with him. Not rumors, but word is coming out that agents have been calling saying they don't like how their representatives have been used in this system, and some of them want their players to be used differently, and I could take that to also mean that they want their players moved if they're not going to be used differently. So it's just a lot of negativity running around Lakerland. It's a lot of stuff pointing at Darvin Ham being removed as coach, because at the end of the day, how are his players being used is something that's ultimately under his control. How his players are being used is ultimately under his control. And we've talked a lot about how I didn't like how he's been using some of the players either, man. We talked about it over the last several games. You know, Austin has to fight tooth and nail to get in the starting lineup, even though he's been one of our best players for the last couple of years. You know, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and we talked about how he's been rendered unplayable, but hasn't been asked to do the things that he's drafted more or less to do. You know, stuff like that. You know, it's not looking good. Christian Wood hardly being able to play, coming off the bench in certain situations, being in the doghouse when we know damn well he looks great next to AD. Rui Hachimura, who, you know, although he's had injury issues this year, I could argue that they didn't play him enough last year when he was red hot in the playoffs just to keep from paying him properly, for which we're seeing a lot around the league. And, you know, this type of stuff is just, you know, Darvin's going to be the fall guy, whether it comes from the front office or not. It's going to come down to how Darvin Ham is making his team look. And you can win, and nobody's going to complain. Once you start losing, everything's your fault. So that's really how it goes, man. That's really where we are, man. Agents are calling up, talking about how they don't like how their players are being used, and because of it, I just don't know how much longer this is going to go. You know, we're not expected to win this basketball game. The Clippers are playing great. Even if we were on a string, we could probably lose to a team like this just because they control their own destiny in a lot of cases, with 4 Hall of Famers on the floor and some really good role players who are finding synergy. And I told people when the Clippers were struggling, I was like, this ain't going to last, man. You know, people were up in the air talking about, oh, the Clippers, they suck. Look at James Harden. I'm like, and they went on like a 6-game losing streak, and I was telling people, you know, more or less, I don't expect this to remain. These are some of the best players in the game. They're going to figure out how to play with one another, and then it's going to be kind of difficult to beat them at all. And that's where we're at. That's exactly where we are. Now it's kind of difficult to beat them at all. I could argue they're the best team in the Western Conference right now. And you know, probably with a couple trades to make to get even better. And so that's really what it comes down to, man. The Clippers are who we're seeing tonight. The floor is ours, but you know, the building over the years has become more and more favorable to the Clippers in these type of situations, with their fans starting to gain more traction and confidence and things of that nature. So I expect for them to be well represented on our floor tonight. And you know, this would probably be the best win of the year if the Lakers can win it, especially in a dramatic, buzzer-beating fashion. That would be one of the greatest games of all time, because this team is just flat out much better than us right now, headed in opposite directions. And we've seen that, you know, the inconsistency of both of these franchises this season in the first half of the year. It was going a certain way about 2 months ago when we were on a 5-game winning streak and they were losing 6 straight, and now we're in this space. Last time we saw them, we beat them right after the James Harden trade was made. He wasn't quite playing for the team yet. They had him sitting in street clothes. Last time we saw them, we were able to squeeze out a win, and we were looking great, and they were looking terrible. And now you fast forward, and it is literally the complete opposite. So, you know, the Lakers, you know, I have no desire to revisit the last couple of games. We've been so bad against the likes of the Heat and the Memphis Grizzlies and the Pelicans. It's just been losses, man. Really lackluster losses. Memphis game, we looked pretty good in the first half with energy, but you know, in the second half, and particularly in the fourth quarter, we just let them run. We just let them run, missing free throws, leaving 3-point shots open all over the place, just like we're prone to do. It's the worst perimeter defensive team in basketball. So, and our offense looked kind of lackluster too, only scoring 19 points in that quarter, just the same. So we just playing bad, man. And you know, and then you look up at the end of the game, and your coach is scolding the fans for demanding better from him from game to game to game. So this is crap, man. Nobody's really happy here right now. Laker fans, Laker players, everybody's got a long face. People complaining. Everybody's complaining. Now it's just on Jeanie Buss to make the changes, man, that are necessary. That's really what it comes down to. Our GM is going to do what Jeanie allows him to do. Yeah, I'm sure he's looking to pull the trigger on some deals. We're excited about that. But at the end of the day, she's going to have to fire yet another coach. That's what it looked like to me. And you could say this game is going to be him saving his job, but he's not supposed to win this game. Be honest with you, even if everybody was playing great, probably lose to the Clippers, you know. So I just don't see why that would be the rumor, other than somebody made that up. But it's going around that if he loses this one, he's probably out of here. So, you know, once you start jabbing at the fans, you showing me that you know you're out of here. That's how I look at that. And so, you know, as I said already in this video, I don't think the fans were the only people he was jabbing at when he said that. I think he was jabbing at his own players, guys who are sick of losing basketball games from night in and night out. He's telling us all it's a marathon, man. This ain't no situation where you're gonna get you know, you supposed to live and die with every game, you know. And my thing is, yes you are if you're the Lakers. Yes you are. And the reason why is because we know how important every game is. When you start talking about winning season series and having home court advantage, you know, keeping yourself out of the play-in tournament, stuff like that, yeah, every game matters. And this is the argument I've been having about this team all year long, is the fact that we use regular season games as practice. And that mentality is what bled through that statement. Like, every game don't matter. We're on a skid, but it you know, this is a marathon. No, fam. Every game we are expected to compete at a high level. We ain't gonna win every game, but when we see stuff not working out based on strategy, and we see stuff not working out based on a lack of energy, guys don't look motivated, guys playing, you know, off of the perimeter when we're getting killed from behind the arc, stuff like that. No, we're gonna put a microscope on every game, not just because we're the Lakers, but because you're doing stuff that it looks bad in those games. Now, if you were doing things that look good in those games, then you can make that statement and we'd be cool. Because, yeah, you know, losing and winning is not something you can always control. Teams are just gonna play better than you. But when we're doing stuff that doesn't work, and we see it not working, and you try something else and that don't work, and you get, you know, guys are not having no continuity, it becomes a conversation about not us having too much of a magnifying glass on what you're doing from game to game, but you not having enough of a magnifying glass on what your team is doing from game to game. Your attention to detail, your attention to the players and their interests, your attention to ultimately what, reading the room in regards to where you're at. We're the Lakers, 17 NBA championships, and hanging our hat and living and dying with every game is what got us the championships we have. Not looking at it as a marathon that we could throw games away and find ourselves with lesser seeding, home court advantage not being in our possession, and then ultimately getting beat in those situations. So I'm over it, man. I don't like the attitude. I understand he's frustrated. I would be frustrated too, but I also know if I'm not built for this, I ain't signing up for this. And that's really what it come down to. I appreciate he got us to the Western Conference Finals. I could argue AD and Bron got us to the Western Conference Finals. He was dragged along for that process, especially with some of the bad stuff that we're seeing. It's been AD and Bron playing at such a high level that's even kept us up in a space where we're even a decent basketball team right now. And so that's really what it come down to. We need better players. We need better coach. And I'm tired of waiting for those changes to be made at this point. I'm tired of pretending like I ain't ready to see some changes. I'm tired of being nice to people who are giving me, hell for being intentional on every game. As you guys can very well see me personally, I very much live and die with every game because I make a video before, middle, and after every damn game. So you best believe I'm going to take offense to that because this is what I do. I work it into my schedule and I don't get a single dime for it. And I do it out of passion. So if I'm told that I'm supposed to just throw these games away, maybe I tell the people who follow me, let's just throw games away. Maybe I'll holler at y'all once a week instead of every game. I'm a consistent person. My team is a consistent team. Every decade we win a championship or more. And we ain't going to win one with this type of mentality. It's the same thing I said about Russell Westbrook, who's on the other side of of the lines tonight against with the Clippers, telling us he need to have fun and stop living and dying with every win in his own way. No, we don't roll like that, bro. We most definitely live and die with every win. We most definitely have fun when the championships are won, and not before that, because it's a grind. Now, you can appreciate the grind, but don't get it confused that you're supposed to be fine with losing. We don't roll like that. We don't roll like that. And the mentality of this team is deeper than the players wearing the uniform and the coach at the helm right now. We've been doing this for decades. We've been winning for decades. And there ain't no coming down from that. If you can't meet those standards, then you're not in the right place, period. And that goes for coaches and everybody else. So that's how I feel, man. I'm over it. I don't care for any of this crap. I don't think Bron has time for this. I don't think AD should be disrespected by having this crap surrounding him anymore. People need to go. I don't care how you do it, other than to say don't mortgage any further in my future to make us even worse. If you can keep yourself from giving up a pick, if you can keep yourself from giving up young talent, if you can get garbage out of here and replace it with good stuff, that's what we want, period. With that being said, we got a new player on our team, Dylan Windler, who had 33 rebounds in the last matchup that he played for his Knicks in the G League. We called him up, 27 years old, kind of injury prone, 37% shooter in the G League, 33% in the league, played for the Cleveland Cavaliers for a couple seconds, hasn't had a lot of minutes in his career. You know how it goes, man. It's just like the Rui situation. Some guys come into the league and their coach don't play them, period. Then they get typecasted as scrubs, get sent down to the G League, show what they can do. A couple injuries hit, guy has like 60 minutes in like 4 years, that type of crap. He just never gets off the bench because nobody ever believes in him. It's the same thing that was happening to Rui in Washington, and to a degree, it's the same thing that's happening to Rui in LA. So I'm excited to see what Dylan Windler could do. Hopefully he can stay healthy for us. I know he has injury issues, but he's healthy right now. And I think with a guy who's coming off a 33 rebound game, you want to keep him in that rhythm. You do not bring him up to your team to sit for 3 weeks, Darvin Ham. Okay? We didn't bring Dylan Windler in to sit. Most of your role players are not giving you what you need. So we bring in a new guy, and he's on in this type of rhythm. He needs to be on the floor, and that's what I need to say. I know that we called him up, and that means he's probably going to sit. And that, my friends, you do him no service. He's in a rhythm where he had 33 boards in the last game. That tells you that this week he's on fire. This week you play him minutes. So bringing him up to sit him down is not doing him any favors, man. And I just want to say that. You know, when he had in his last game 33 damn rebounds, the most that any G League players ever had since the G League was put together. And he needs to be on the floor right away. And he needs to be on the floor above some of the people that you're using that ain't doing nothing for you. So that's what I got to say about Dylan Windler. Hopefully he can finally get an opportunity, but with this coach in place, I doubt he will even see the floor. It's the truth, man. Just being honest. And so these are the type of things we're concerned about. Obviously, we got a game tonight that we need to be talking about. The Clippers haven't beaten everybody we've lost to, healthy. They're only missing like one guy, and he's a role player. So we got to deal with everybody they got, man. Straight up. Period. And with that being said, know that Russell Westbrook's got a special interest in kicking you. Zubats, same. They're ex-Lakers that, you know, have every reason to want to stomp you out, just like anybody else on the Clippers. They, you know, their whole championship is about beating us most of the time. So, given the fact that we beat them in the last game, you know damn well they're gonna want to beat us in this one. And it's gonna take more than Anthony Davis and LeBron James playing at a high level to compete tonight. We know that. So, guys got to show up. D'Angelo Russell is a game time decision, as he was in the last game. I don't know that we'll see him tonight. I expect Rui Hachimura will still be considered out, dealing with God knows what injury. It's a million different injuries he's trying to recover from. And, of course, Gabe Vincent's going to be out for the foreseeable future. And Anthony Davis is considered a game-time decision, although I'm certain he'll play. So that's what it is, man. The Clippers going to be wearing black. We'll be wearing our Sunday best whites. And I don't agree with the idea that Darvin Ham should lose his job because of this game. I think Darvin Ham should be fired before this game, honestly. You know, he shouldn't even be at the helm after saying those things and looking as bad as he did. That should have been it. Team is checked out, and it showed us that for the last 3 games they checked out on this dude. They don't have nothing left for him. I don't expect nothing from them tonight because of it. You know what I mean? Got 6 different sources going to various different people telling them that there's discernment in the locker room and stuff like that. I don't think there's anything else to do but to move on from the coach who's supposed to be controlling that locker room. Got Hall of Fame players playing at a high level and can't get above 500. It's just like, no, man, I don't care for this anymore. I don't want to be patient. I don't expect anything but to lose and be upset. And if the team does anything other than that, I'll be very pleased, but I don't expect it at all, man. I know when the team's checked out. I didn't see seasons like this before where the team is done with the coach, the team is done with each other. And I don't think the team is done with each other, man. I don't think everybody on this team doesn't believe in the man next to him. I just think that they know the man next to him ain't gonna be used correctly or properly put on the floor, particularly to either be himself or guard the damn perimeter at all. Clippers can attempt 50 threes tonight. I guarantee they ain't gonna have no problem shooting threes if they want to, man. So that's what I would expect. I would tell you to guard the perimeter, but I know you're not going to. So, you know, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Norman Powell, they're all gonna shoot tonight. Be ready for that. They're gonna get inside at will. Be ready for that. You know, these are things. These are Hall of Famers, man. You're going up against a super team, probably the only real super team in basketball right now. And with all of them starting to know each other, learn each other, their defense starting to come together, their offense is clicking. This could be a trap game for them if they're looking at us like a bad team. You know what I mean? But since it's the Lakers, I'd imagine they're coming in with a certain level of intensity that would otherwise show up even if we were a quote unquote horrible and bad team. But you know, this is one of those situations where we don't get the ability to just sneak up on somebody. If we were in Pacer uniform or something like that, we could probably sneak up on the Clippers. But given the fact this is a Battle LA and the floor is purple, they're going to try to blow us out. And so that's what I'm telling y'all, man. And the sad thing about it is AD and Bron playing at a high level is not putting us in positions to win basketball games of late. AD's been playing at a Hall of Fame level over the last 13 games. And we've lost most of those games. So it's like, he going to be great. And I don't want to waste any more of his talent with this nonsense. I really don't. I think trades are very necessary. I get that. I believe that. I don't know that any coach can really get this team into a championship level. With this roster, we need to improve it. But there are ways you can use players that we're not using them properly. And that's it, man. That's all. So my frustration is at an all-time high, I think, for this season, man. High alert, code red, panic button, all of that. We didn't slap that button about 2 games ago. we're on a very bad skid. We're one of the worst teams in the league right now, and our core is healthy. So ain't nothing else to say, man. Ain't nothing else to say. That's what the vibes are going into this very, very serious matchup against a team that we really, really despise very much, man. And just like against the Celtics, we didn't do nothing on Christmas Day. I don't expect us to do nothing tonight, man. Hopefully the team could change my mind, come out with a certain level of heart, and play 48 full minutes of basketball. Because in the last game, we started out first half pretty good, getting steals, doing all that, but eventually our tendencies to leave people open reared its horrible head, and as a result, we were shot down in a very, very major way by the Memphis Grizzlies, who are not even a shooting team like that. Marcus Smart went for 9 threes, man. So I'm not here for none of this crap, man. I want to see some changes. I want to see them now, preferably before the game even tips off. Or you know, I'm gonna be ticked off. I mean, honestly, I don't think there's any reason to keep going with this. To be honest with y'all, I really don't. I'm keeping AD. I'm keeping Bron. If I can keep Austin out of trades, I'll keep him out of that. Everybody else got to be shopped, and the coach got to be fired, man. That's it. Ain't nothing else to say. There's nothing else to say. Team is doing too bad in a situation where we need to be winning right away. Bron is in year 21 at age 39. We do not have time for ineptitude or people who believe a marathon means only practicing during real games. All of that is not going to work. We have got to implement more practices to develop these players that we are relying upon to be better. And that is something that is a organizational mistake. I don't care who you have coaching. If you're not agreeing that practice needs to be implemented consistently with players that are not yet developed, you are not doing what you can to make them better. And that is what needs to be said. I don't care who you got in this uniform. If you ain't practicing, you ain't getting better. So that's on Jeannie, and it trickles down to everybody else. And I'm telling her that directly. You got to demand your team practice, man. You got to. You got to. A lot of the problems that we have here is because we allowed this team not to. So that's what I think. I've been saying it for over a year now, and we're seeing the result of what happens when you don't. You go up against teams to beat you who don't have those issues. We're not operating in that way. So practice more. You'll see your team get better. It really will. Even if they're doing things a certain way that we don't love, they'll get better at doing it if they just see themselves doing it more often. So, you know, hopefully Max Christie has some good minutes out there. We're going to need him in his defense and his athleticism. Hopefully TP continues to shoot very well. Torian's been shooting the ball very well as of late. You know, like I said, Anthony Davis playing at a Hall of Fame level. I mean, he's doing legendary stuff out there. But unfortunately, it's not translating to winning right now. Bron has been under the weather for the last couple of weeks, also known as probably fed up with this nonsense, and doesn't really want to do this with them. That's how I'm taking it. I don't think he's sick at all. I just think he's sick of this crap, just like I am. So, you know, ain't nobody eating no ham sandwiches around here, Bron. I tell you right now, man, my head is focused. I'm intent. I'm hanging my hat on every game. I understand I'm not going to win everything, but I want to see people doing things that schematically work for themselves, man. That's what I want to see. I want to see people work on their craft every day at an excellent level, not being shy about practicing, not being shy about putting in the effort, and acting like they're millionaires, man. Act like you're millionaires who get paid to do what it is that you do at the highest level. That's what I want to see. Let's get back to ground zero as it pertains to our work ethic, man. Blue collar attitude, man. I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing it from nobody. And guys want to sit back and say, well, we don't know what to do. You ain't practicing. You mean? I mean, at the end of the day, you want to implement changes, but you don't want to put in the effort to get better at what it is that's being implemented. So that's my thing, man. I want to see that. And it starts with, like I said, Jeannie. She's the owner. She got to tell people what she will go for and what she won't, what's the best way of her money being spent and what's not. And for me, you can have the most beautiful building. You can have all these high-level talented players. You can have whatever going on that makes your team look good. But if they're going to come out there and run lackluster ball and then be upset at the result, it starts with the effort they put in before that. You know what I mean? That really does. So I think that's the culture that we need to revisit. Practice more, practice hard, and not creating excuses for why we don't look good on the floor in real games. So that's my attitude. That's gonna be my attitude until we get better, man. And I would love to upset the Clippers, but I think even if we do, it's fool's gold if we don't make some changes. Don't look at this game if we happen to beat them, if they have a flat night, thinking, oh yeah, we got the great coach, we're gonna be fine. This team has proven who they are. And at this point, we need to make changes to improve who they are. BDF 44, I thank you all for watching.